say hello to the hips. Today's little stretching episode is focused on the psoas and a little bit of hip opening. So we're going to start seated in Sukhasana, easy seated pose. And I like to just remove my butt cheeks out of the way here so I can feel that grounded connection of the sit bones to the earth. You can just bring the hands in front of you and just feel a little connection to the earth, just dropping back into the hips here, feeling the tummy come back towards the spine, a little bit of lengthening through the back body and the connection to the breath. So just starting here to drop into the breath and feeling that inhale and exhale. You might even like to take the hands to the knees. I take chin mudra here, so the forefinger underneath the thumb is said to be the ego bowing to the higher self, and sometimes in our hip opening we just need to get out of our own way. So that's why we're going to take that mudra today. So taking a few rounds of inhale and exhale breath, again sitting back into the hips and feeling the grounded connection to the earth. See if you can drop the shoulders away from the ears and lengthen through the cervical spine. Just take another 3 or 4 rounds of breath here, feeling the inhale traveling in through the nose, down the back of the throat. And as you exhale a breath, just letting that drift away. You might like to take a few rounds of really deep belly breathing here and feel that sigh, or open the mouth and really release that exhale, making room for fresh oxygen as it comes in through the nose. So just another round of breath here. Notice if you've taken any tension into the knees and the hips as we start into our hip stretching here. So we're going to try and stay really connected to the breath throughout this process. So I just want you to bring the hands, palms to the earth in front of the legs and look down at the legs here and make sure the ankles are crossed. So we don't want to bring the knees all the way under here. We actually want to cross at the ankles. We're going to bring the hands, palms down to the earth. So part of this activity today is going to be around finding the hinging in the hips. So we can either sit back into the hips here, or we can lift and lengthen and actually feel like we're sticking our tailbone or our butt out towards the wall behind us. Take an inhale breath as you feel the lengthening through the back body. And you can actually press the hands, palms into the floor and feel like you're pulling the heart space forward here. And gently start to walk the hands forward. So we've got that hinging of the hips happening, lengthening through the back body, and drawing the body forward into this forward fold. So I'm looking beyond the hands so I can really feel that lengthening. And as I start to breathe, inhale and exhale, we're going to use that creation of the space on the inhale and the surrender on the exhale to lower into this stretch. So I'm still stretching through the back body, looking beyond the hands, and I'm going to take another round of inhale breath. Notice where I'm holding any tension. And as I exhale, or as you exhale, release into the stretch, eventually taking an inhale, and you can tuck the chin in towards the chest and surrender the head down to the earth. So some of us may be a little bit more flexible in this area, and some of us might be a little tighter. So this first round of stretching into the hip space is going to be about letting go. So our hips do hold on to a lot of our emotional stuff. So see if you can feel where that tension is. Draw the breath into the body. And as you release the breath into that surrender, see if you can let go of the tension. We're going to take 3 more rounds of breath here. Inhale, creating space. And the exhale, allowing you to surrender. And you might even walk the hands, palms forward a little bit more. 1 more round of breath. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to walk the hands back towards the shins. Take whichever foot was crossed behind and cross it over the other way. So you've left your behind in the past here. Hands, palms down towards the earth. We look down. Make sure we're crossed at the ankles. Lift up through the back body. Lengthen through the spine. Take an inhale breath. Make sure we're hinging forward from the hips and feeling that length happening through the back body as we gently walk the hands forward. Continuing with that inhale and exhale breath. Noticing where we're holding the tension and allowing the breath to go to that part of the body and seeing if we can release a layer of that tension. You might feel it into the lower back a little bit, you might feel it into the hips, you might feel it into the adductor or even into the glutes. And if you're not elbows down to the floor, that's perfectly okay. You may be way more flexible than me in this space. You may have the head down to the earth already. What I want you to focus on in that case is still drawing the body forward and lengthening the torso or the ribs away from the hips. This next breath, tuck the chin, release the head, and take 3 more rounds of breath. Inhale, create some space. Exhale, allow yourself to surrender. Inhale, create a little space. Allow yourself to surrender. One more. Gently walk the hands back towards the hips. Extend both legs out to the front and give them a little bit of a shake because that can really wake up the hips into that area there. So we're going to take the left leg and cross it over the top of the right, and we've got this foot, the knife edge of the foot pressed into the earth there. My knee is in the midline of the body. So this right foot I'm going to take out and take it over the midline. Hands, palms go down to the earth. Again, we're feeling our butt pressing back and that action of lifting out of the hips so that we can hinge forward. So we're lifting up, lengthening through the back body. Now I want you to take that inhale breath, continue with that lengthening, and as you start to exhale, you can walk the hands forward. Keep going with that hinging of the hips, and I know this might be a challenge, and that's okay. That's what we're here to do, is to open up into the hips. So this posture is actually called half shoelace. Full shoelace would be if I took this knife edge of the foot and put it here, and it kind of does look like your Nike runners, your Adidas runners, or whatever runners you're wearing. So keep with the inhale and the exhale. You can even press the hands, palms into the floor here, and use the arms to create a little bit of traction, drawing the chest forward. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, surrender the body on down to the leg and tuck the chin to the chest. So as deep or as shallow as you are in this posture, wherever you are, just honor your practice and connect in with the breath. That's the most important thing in this space, because we want to release whatever we're holding on to. And if we hold on to the breath, we ain't going to release jack diddly squat. So remember to always connect in with the breath. Inhale, create a little space, exhale, and surrender. We're going to take 2 more rounds of breath here. And again, you can stay in this pose for as little as long as you like. Wherever you feel that comfortability, or wherever you're going beyond that comfortability, so that you can create a little more flexibility. Walk the hands back towards the thigh or the hips. Uncross that left leg from over the top. And this time we'll bring left leg to the midline, right leg goes over, knife edge of the foot down into the mat, and this left leg we're going to take just slightly off center there. So a key focus here is making sure that the hips are connected to the earth. So you can flex that underneath left leg. You can lift up through the torso with an inhale breath. Use the hands, palms in the front here, again hinging forward from the hips. So you're pressing the tailbone or the tail, the glutes out towards the back of the room. Use the hands, create a little bit of traction, inhale and lengthen through the back body, and as you exhale, you can walk the body forward. So it doesn't matter, like sometimes you might only be here and you might be going, Lordy be, this is really hurting right now. Perfectly okay to just be wherever you are in your practice, as long as you connect in with the breath and you can feel the breath moving through the body, allowing you some opening. And I kind of liken it to like a video game where, you know, you get past one level with the breath and it allows you to open up and get to the next level. So the breath is always going to reveal to you where the tension is, and it's also going to allow you to work past those places of tension. So that's why the breath is so important to the body. Take 2 more rounds of breath here, releasing the chin to the chest or wherever you might be in this practice. And allow yourself a little bit of hand to earth connection as you walk the body back up. You can release the legs here. Just do a few little windscreen wipers here to get you back in the swing of things. We're going to take the legs behind us, come all the way up onto the knees, and we're going to take the left leg out to the side, press the knife edge of the foot into the earth there, so you can already feel a little bit of opening up into the adductors here. From here, we're going to release the right hand down to the earth, inhale the left hand high. I want you to feel a little bit of a press into the hips here as you lift. So this is going to target our psoas. So I want you to feel that little bit of a press forward and then gaze towards that top left hand and then allow that hand to float over the head, and you can gaze or take your line of sight towards the fingertips. And my line of sight is going to the horizon out on the ocean at the moment. It's quite a glorious day outside. Look at the elbow just for a moment, and you might even feel that you can take that elbow back towards the ear and readjust your gaze. And take another 2 or 3 rounds of breath here. Again, breath to body connection, super important. Keep that little press with the hips forward, opening up. You might even get a little bit of opening into the heart space here, but definitely traveling down the side body and giving the psoas a little reprieve. So we're going to sweep that hand past the knees as we bring our left foot in. Take that left hand down to the earth and take the right foot out to the side, knife edge of the foot, rolling out towards the mat. Inhale and take the right arm high. So we're going to start with this little press of the hips, and you can see that gentle opening of the hips here. No pelvic thrusts. Yep, we're not taking any steps to the left or the right, doing any pelvic thrusts here. We're just doing a gentle press of the hips. Look towards the hand, and as you inhale a breath, find that length. Reaching all the way over to the other side of the room. Gaze towards the elbow, open the elbow or the armpit, gaze up the forearm to the fingertips, gentle extra pressing of the hips here, opening up, feeling a little bit of a reprieve into the psoas. I'm actually not feeling a reprieve, I'm feeling quite a deep stretch here, which is actually quite lovely. Exhale, release and sweep that hand down by the earth. We are still here on the knees. This time we're going to step the right foot forward. I want you to make sure that the foot is out in front of the knee. So we're going to create a little bit of space under here. Take an inhale breath. You can release the hands onto the quadricep on that right leg. I want you to relax the shoulders down. Challenge, lengthening through the neck. Inhale the breath, and as you exhale, surrender on down. So we really want to make sure that that front right foot is out in front of the knee, that you have an angle 90 degrees or greater under that knee. And I want you to draw everything towards the midline. So don't let that knee just rock on out to the side. Draw it into the midline here. Inhale and release. Try and release the shoulders down the back, away from the neck, away from the ears. You hold so much tension there as well. Inhale breath, lengthen the ribs away from the hips. As you exhale, surrender down. Perfectly fine to close your eyes during this practice. It can be really beautiful, a little bit more introspective. One more round of breath. So we're taking roughly, you can bring that foot back to meet the knee now. We're taking roughly 3 to 5 rounds of breath in each asana here, but you can feel free to extend beyond that. So we're going to step the left foot forward, making sure the left foot is out in front of the knee. Your angle under the knee here is going to be greater. Hands onto the quadricep, don't rest them on the kneecap, bring them back here to the quad. Inhale, lengthen the ribs away from the hips. Draw the shoulders down and back. So you're really feeling that, not only the lengthening through the back body, but into the cervical spine, the neck. So drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Take an inhale breath, and as you exhale, surrender the hips down to the earth. So the reason that we have this foot forward is so that we don't hyperextend the kneecap, which will happen if the foot's back. Also, it increases the range of motion in the hips here, so that you can actually have somewhere to go. If you have that front foot drawn all the way back in under the knee, you're not going to be able to open up into that space as much as you will with it stepping forward. So take another 2 rounds of breath here. Again, acknowledge where those shoulders are. We're drawing everything into the midline. Exhale and release. Inhale, take another round of breath. Exhale and release. Take both hands down towards the earth and pull that knee back, come into kneeling, hands, palms down to the earth. Open up the knees and take a wild child's pose. So we're going to draw the hips back to the heels to start. The knees are out on the edge of the mat, and you can walk the hands forward, and you're feeling a little bit of opening here, and you can rest the forehead down on the mat. But the key here is to be pulling the hips down towards the heels, and you can still feel that lengthening through the back body. And you can rest the head here, or you can take this posture and make it a little bit more active by raising the elbows and pressing the fingertips. Still finding length through the back body. And if the head's not connecting down to the mat just yet, that's okay. You can cross the hands over each other and rest the forehead here. You're still feeling that same hip to heel connection until you start to open up into the hips, and you can go a little deeper here. So we're going to take 2 more rounds of breath here, and whatever variation of child's pose is working for you, wherever you're feeling that stretch and lengthening. 3 more rounds of breath. One more round. Pressing the hands into the earth, gently walking the hands, palms back. You can come up onto the knees, bring the knees back together and come up on to the knees, so you're standing on your knees. So we're going to step the right foot forward. Again, I'm just going to shuffle back on my mat a little bit there. So you can create little knee donuts here if you've got a knee injury. There's a couple of things you can do. Either fold the mat so that you've got a little bit more support under the knee, and that might look like this, so that you've got a little bit more underneath the knee. So I'll just show you that variation here. So we're going to come down into a little bit of a lunge here. So my body weight is in my hands. I'm taking some of that weight in the hands. I'm going to tuck my back left toe, and I'm going to lift up. I'm going to take a little bit of a rock forward and back here. I'm just going to find where a sticking point might be in my hip, in that hip flexor, in that hip opening. And when I find that space, I'm going to draw into it. Take some deep inhales, and with the exhale breath, hopefully release some of the tension in that hip. So we're going to take 2 more rounds of breath here. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now we can drop that back left knee down again, uncurl the toes, and this time heel toe that right foot out to the side. From here, right hand comes on the inside, what I want you to do is just walk the hands forward to the edge of the mat. Ground the hands into the earth as though you're pressuring into the heel of the hand, and you're going to draw the body forward here. So this is a variation on our lizard lunge. So we are still drawing everything to the midline. I'm lengthening through the back body. I've got my chin slightly tilted. So I'm creating length through the back body. My hands are pressing into the earth, and it's almost like I'm creating traction here to draw the body forward. As I inhale my breath, that exhale allows me to surrender a little deeper. So try that inhale, exhale in this space. Really try and keep the length in the back body. One more round of breath. And we can walk the hands back a little bit. Heel toe, that foot back towards the center. Hands go either side of the foot. Press up into that back leg and just feel a little bit more of a stretch into that hip flexor. Lengthening through the back body. Exhale, release that knee down to the floor. Take the right foot back. Knees come together. And we're in our neutral tabletop. And you might just send the hips to the right and the hips to the left, just because that feels good. It just feels a little bit groovy. And then we can step the other foot forward. So making sure that the toe is out in front of the knee. And we're going to tuck the toes of the right leg, lifting up, feeling a little bit of a rock forward and backwards until we find that space that needs a little TLC. So you'll know when you get it. When you get there, you'll go, oh yeah, that's the spot. So this little rocking forward and backwards until you find that sweet spot. And when you find it, take a pause, connect in with the breath. See if you can find that surrender. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. One more round. Inhale, exhale. Drop that right knee down, uncurl the toes. We're going to heel toe that left foot out to the side of the mat. I've gone off the mat, totally okay. Hands come forward just slightly. Take an inhale breath, press the hands palms into the earth and draw the crown of the head forward or towards the front of the room, still keeping that knee in towards the midline. As you inhale the breath, lengthen through the body. As you exhale, see if you can drop that hip a little bit closer down towards the earth. I can feel a little bit of shaking going on here in my left leg. That means the work is being done and there's a change happening. 2 more rounds of breath. Inhale and exhale. 1 more round of breath. I'm going to heel toe that right foot, left foot back in and bring that knee back to meet the other one. Walk my hands back towards the knees and just feel a little gentle press here. You might even separate the knees ever so slightly. We're not coming into a full camel. We're just feeling that pelvic tilt, drawing the pelvis down to the earth and just a little bit of opening into the hips, which feels quite nice indeed. Yay. So this is feeling good so far. Our next posture is another variation on Anjaneyasana. So we're going to step again that right foot forward directly so that the hips are in line, keeping the hips squared. We're going to take an inhale breath. As we exhale, surrender down into the hip, and this time take that beautiful long left arm and inhale. Take it all the way to the sky. Follow the fingertips, gazing towards the fingertips. Try and drop the shoulders away from the ears. Feeling that lengthening happening through the front left side of the body. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, surrender a little deeper. 1 more round. Inhale. Exhale, surrender a little deeper. Oh, I think we've got room for 1 more. Inhale. Exhale and surrender. Feeling good. Release that left hand down towards the earth. Step the right foot back. This padding's feeling quite nice under the knees, which means we can stay a little longer, which is great. Stepping the left foot forward, making sure we're in line with the hip, that toes out in front, greater than 90 degrees at the knee, coming up, taking an inhale breath, exhale, surrender into our Anjane Asana. Opening up into the hips feels so great, like so great. Release that right hand down to the earth. Follow the fingertips as you lift that right arm on the inhale, gazing up towards the sky. Feel the lift as you inhale. Feel the surrender as you exhale. Allow the shoulders to release down. Feel length in the neck. One more round. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. And surrender on down, stepping that leg back to meet the other one. Hands, palms down to the earth. Take the knees wide. I've still got that padding under the mat, which is under the knees of the mat, which is feeling lovely. And surrender back down into child's pose. So this time you might notice a little bit of a change here, that the hips have come down to meet the heels. Maybe even the chest is coming down to the earth, and the forehead can rest. And then just rest the hands, cross the hands, palms over each other. Take a deep inhale, sigh, and allow the body just a little bit of respite here. Oh, nearly forgot we were on camera. Could stay here for ages. And you can stay there for ages. You can walk the hands back. And I want you to drop the hips down towards the earth and take a seat. You can unroll the mat a little bit here. I'm going to turn side on. We're going to hit the deck. Bring the hips up towards the heels. Elongate through the spine, so the chin's tucking slightly and I can feel the whole back body connected to the earth here. This time I'm going to take my right foot, cross it over my left leg, and I've flexed my foot here. That right foot is flexed as it makes contact with the left quadricep, so just below the knee. I'm already pressing that knee or activating that leg and drawing that knee away from the body. What I'm going to do now is lift my left leg, wrap my hands around the inside of my thighs, take my right elbow into that right adductor or as close to the knee as I can. As I inhale, I'm going to draw the knee. I'm going to press that knee open and I'm going to challenge myself to draw that left knee back into the chest. And as I exhale, I'm going to allow that knee to come a little closer. So the inhale creates that little bit of tension or opening in the hip. And as you exhale, allow yourself the surrender and you can feel that opening into your right butt cheek. So it's even running down the side of the leg into the knee, which is your ITB. And you might feel a little in the adductor if you're really working that elbow into the right knee, and you should feel the activation of the bicep here. So the arms are actually doing work as well, and you're trying to lengthen through the back body so you've got that full body to earth connection. Take another round of inhale and exhale, opening up. So this stretch does stretch into the piriformis, which is very, very similar to the outcomes that we have in our pigeon pose, which is good. It's just a little different gravitational shift here. So release the left foot down to the floor, unbind that right leg. You can have a little bit of movement in the knees here. Come back to center. Bring that right foot up towards the hip. Take that left foot, cross it on over. You can start by pressing that knee back, activating the left foot and making sure that that foot's on the quad. so that you've got some good stability happening there. You can actually feel, if you're applying a little bit of pressure to that inside left leg, you can actually feel that the hips drawing away from the ribs, so creating that telescoping effect there. So with the next inhale, we're going to take the arms around the thigh, and we're going to start to press that left elbow into the left knee, and as you exhale, you can draw that knee into the chest. You'll notice one leg might be a little bit more flexible than the other. So it's the one where there's no flexibility is probably where you do need to do a little bit more of this work. So flex the foot, nearly forgot. Inhale, apply a little bit of pressure to that knee. As you exhale, allow that right knee to draw the foot back towards the chest. 2 more rounds of breath. Inhale, apply the left pressure of the elbow, engaging that bicep into the left adductor. Exhale, allow yourself to open that knee and pull that right knee into the chest. 1 more round of breath. So there's lots going on in this stretch. It's not just a case of grabbing hold of that right leg. We're actually doing some quite dynamic stretching there and working in opposite directions. Release the right foot down to the earth, unbind the hands, release the foot, take the feet hip just wider than hip width apart. They might even hit the outside edges of the mat, and draw the knees together. This pose is called constructive rest, and we use it quite often. Hands, palms up towards the sky. You can dig the elbows if your shoulder blades aren't all the way underneath, and you can just take a little bit of respite here because that feels good. Take a deep inhale, let the knees flop out to the side, and from here you can take a little Shavasana in the sunshine. So I hope you enjoyed this very quick hip opening series this morning, and you can pick that up and participate in those hip opening postures anytime you like. Even more enjoyable when the sun is shining